Let's now check in on how far proceedings are in the city of Johannesburg with our reporter Pule Letshwiti-Jones. Pule, what has been happening so far? Are we close to knowing what the fate of the city of Johannesburg?
Well, quite close. We do understand that the process of now, of course, swearing in councillor-elects is really moving at a good pace right now. But we've also had the opportunity to grab some of the leaders from some of the parties as well, like the likes of Johannesburg Regional Secretary Dada Morero. Thank you very much for joining me on eNCA. Now, there's been talks around how the DA and Action SA coalition talks, which are really not coming together, could plunge the relationship into a crisis. However, this opens room for you to have a working relationship with some of the parties. Is this something that you have been anticipating and waiting to see as well?
Yeah, thank you. Certainly the decision of the situation of the DA having taken a position that they will be not going into a coalition with Action SA puts us in a better position as the ANC to go through today. In fact, the DA has said it will put up a candidate. We are also putting up a candidate, and we've got support of the smaller parties from the IFP and the PA. So we think we'll be able to go through as the ANC today.
You are one of the names that were tabled before the NEC as well, joined by the likes of Eunice Ngwina as well as Mpho Marane. But there's also been backlash that was received from some of the ANC disgruntled members opposing, saying your name shouldn't have been there. Are you aware about some of these rumors that are being made?
I didn't hear you.
Have you seen the statement that is, or letter that was written to the ANC DSG opposing that your name should never have been there in the first place?
My name?
Yes.
No. Certainly, I think that process was explained by the DSG, that the nomination of myself, Dada Morero, was above board and was in accordance to the resolutions of conference and the constitution of the ANC. So nothing untoward. In fact, you do expect during this process of nominations that we'll have other people who have their own ideas. So we're not worried about that. We have a candidate that the ANC has confirmed in the National Executive Committee meeting, which is Comrade Mpho Marane, and we're all in support of him and fully behind him.
Could we be seeing a possible partnership between yourselves and the DA, especially if there's a minority government, when it comes to the passing of crucial reports and adjustment budgets of war? Could you vote for them, and could they vote for you?
It has always been the attitude of the ANC and our culture to engage all other parties where we govern, especially in Johannesburg. So in passing the budgets and doing all other things, we will engage with parties so that the budget is reflective of all the wards in Johannesburg, whether it's ANC wards or DA wards. So we'll engage them, including the EFF. We have done it before with all the big parties, engaging them so that they can find their views can find expression in the budget of Johannesburg. So it's something that we'll continuously do.
Mr. Morero, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm just on a pan on my right-hand side quickly, just so you can have a look at some of the EFF councillors currently, councillor-elects currently being sworn in. But while that's the case, I'm also just going to quickly open room for one of the parties as well here, Al-Jama, to actually speak to us. I'm going to speak to Thapelo Amat, who is the provincial chairperson of the party, in just a few seconds. But of course, what we're witnessing now, what we're seeing on our screens, is some of the EFF councillor-elects who actually came in very high-spirited when entering council this morning. And of course, this, like we've just heard now from the Johannesburg leadership, that they're opening their door to work with whichever party, including the EFF as well, quite contrary to what we heard earlier, rather last week, when the party's leader, Julius Malema, said that they would not be working with the ANC. But I'm just going to bring in now chairperson of Al-Jama, Thapelo Amat. Thank you very much for joining us on eNCA this morning. Now, you've been one of the parties that have been named to be as well key also decision makers when it comes to actually endorsing your seats and supporting some of the parties such as the ANC or the EFF. How have some of those coalition talks went?
Thank you so much. I would say for now, where we are, I could confidently say everything went well on the basis that we understand that we need to put the residents first. Coalition government happens in hang municipalities, and it emanates from parties not doing well on the polls and other parties doing well in terms of increasing numbers. Bigger parties they have now become bigger minorities. They are no longer an outright majority. So if all of us in the legislature are constituting minority, that means the residents might be suffered because there wouldn't be government. So we need to consolidate all those numbers so that we constitute government, and there's a political willpower, one, and there's a political agenda to expedite processes of service delivery. So we came into the discussions on the basis that we wanted to co-govern with the bigger minorities in the city of Johannesburg. Particularly, we've had discussions with the ANC, so we are still committed to work with the ANC because we've worked with them in the previous administration. This is a new dispensation, so we've worked very well with the ANC in particular to co-govern the city of Johannesburg. So this is where we are right now. I can confidently say we are there to put our residents first.
When being approached by the ANC, what have been some of your demands?
Look, our demands are very easy because, one, on principle and issues of common policies, there's a lot of similarities, that's one. And we, as the party itself, we didn't demand a lot from the ANC in terms of the policy-driven agenda because we have a lot of similarities when it comes to them. But there are areas of development where what we alluded to, we worked with the ANC in opposition as well, right? So there's a lot of coalition or hang municipalities across the country, not only in the city of Johannesburg. So Cape Town, the Western Cape, there's no, where we have a footprint, there isn't a coalition, but we spoke about the issue of developing District 6 because it's a heritage site, particularly for that community. We are co-governing with the ANC in Harding, the KZN. The issues that we put forth, it's not only access to water, but the right to water. We are saying the government has to give the residents rights to water. And we also having Section 79 in oversight, to do oversight on the ruling administration in Mdoni. We also spoke about the issue of marriage bill, on the basis that Islamic marriage bill in particular, on the national level, it's a crisis. You would know that our constitution do not recognize the marriage bill, and a female whose husband dies, the only thing that they are able to prove with to say they are married, it's a marriage certificate, but over and above that.
Yeah, I have to cut you short.
Thank you so much.
I'll be with you just as the proceedings continue.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining us, Ahmad from Al Jamar Provincial Chairperson, stating in quite clear record that they have been approached by the ANC and are working with the ANC, and they will continue working with them in terms of finding each other when it comes to crucial resolutions and reports, including budgets, of course, for all that have to be passed through council. But that's it from me here, Maseko, for now. We do understand that the council elects of the EFF are currently being sworn in on my right-hand side. Just going to go quite there again just before you head to other councils that are currently convening throughout the country today.
All right, Pule Letshwiti-Jones, let's leave it there for now at the inaugural council for Johannesburg. Let's take